We're going to jump into our Week 15 preview in just a moment, but really quickly, my boss said that we can get a producer on Saturday if we can get to 18.9 thousand subscribers, which we are 45 subs away. So if we don't get that number, I'm flying solo on Saturday, and I'd love to have a producer with me. It makes the watch party a whole lot more fun. So help us reach that milestone by clicking that subscribe button. What's going on, Broncos country? Welcome on into the Broncos Breakdown Week 15 preview time as Denver completes its third straight road game. You don't get 3 road games very often. They have a chance to go 2-1 on this 3-game road stretch. They have not had 2 wins on a 3-game road stretch in decades. I think since the 1970 was the last time they did that. So an opportunity to make some history and an opportunity to dramatically improve their playoff odds, right? If they beat the Lions, improve to 8-6, their chances of making the playoffs jump up to 70%. If they lose, it goes down to about 30%. So it's not a complete must-win game, but it would definitely help a lot as the playoff race is getting thicker and closer. But let's get to know these two teams a little bit here and checking out both the offense and the defense. So Denver's offense so far averaging 22 points a game. They go up against the Lions defense giving up 24 points a game. Denver has turned it over 18 times. However, Detroit has only forced 14 takeaways this season. As for the Lions offense, let's see how that stacks up against the Broncos defense. One thing to watch for here is the Lions offense converts on third down 42% of the time. That's top 10 in the NFL. Meanwhile, Denver's defense, I should say, only gives up a first down and third down 32% of the time. So that could be one of those oil meets water situation. Detroit also having a bit of a turnover problem, coughing up the football 20 times this year. And Denver, as we know, has no problem taking the ball away. They've got 24 takeaways on the season. But I think it's important to look at what these two teams have been up to the last 3 weeks or so, right? The recent trends heading into the Saturday's game, which it is a Saturday game, by the way. Denver on offense, averaging 23 points a game. The Lions had a great offense to start the year. It has cooled off a little bit. They put up 13 points in the Windy City last Sunday. They averaged 22 points a game the last 3 weeks. Turnover differential, Denver's at 0, Lions -4. So if you're just going off the numbers, things are leaning towards the Broncos' direction. But let me know who you got in this game. You can go with the Broncos, type B, or you can just drop your L in the chat for the Lions for the loss, maybe. But let me know who you got in this game down below in the comment section. All right, let's get into my keys to victory now for the Broncos, starting with this one. Master over the grasshopper. So Sean Payton, who of course had a long stint in New Orleans, as we all know, also coached and was a coach with Dan Campbell. So we've got some familiarity here between Sean Payton and Dan Campbell as they overlap together down in the Big Easy as a coach and a player relationship. You can see Dan Campbell stalking the sidelines for New Orleans before he got hired by the Motor City. So there's a lot to learn here for Dan Campbell as he goes up against his master, his predecessor, right? The guy he learned everything from, essentially. And in fact, Dan Campbell acknowledged this when speaking to the media this week, saying, "It means we better be on our stuff because he's going to come here and try to embarrass us." That's what it means. So that's our motivation. That's my motivation. And it's about winning, man. All we've got to do is find a way to win. We're going to have to be at our best, and we will have to be at our best. Now, we'll talk more about that in just a moment, but let me tell you guys about our terrific sponsor today, which is Game Time. Today's Broncos Breakdown is sponsored by Game Time because they don't want you guys to have to worry when you're buying tickets to your next big event. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. If you're trying to catch an upcoming Broncos game or you want to see a concert or another sporting event in your area, say an Avs or Nuggets game, Game Time is the place to visit first. Now, what I love about Game Time is the ability to get last-minute tickets for the lowest price. There's nothing better than that spur-of-the-moment boys trip the night before a game, and well, you can do that without breaking the bank. It's the place to find last-minute seats. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code Broncos Chat for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, but again, create an account and redeem the code Broncos Chat for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. I put all that information down in the comments and description of today's video. Second key to victory for the Broncos, feed Courtland Sutton. I mean, this one's a bit of a basic bitch one, but let's be honest. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it is definitely working for Courtland Sutton, right? Continue to feed him the football, continue to get him the ball, because Courtland Sutton this season has 10 touchdowns. I mean, no other wide receiver outside of Brandon Johnson has more than that. Jerry Jeudy's got 1 touchdown and 500-ish yards. So Sutton has done a terrific job this year of being a deep threat for Russell Wilson. And he's going to have an interesting matchup, let's say, going up against Cameron Sutton. How often do you get the same last names going up against one another? Courtland Sutton, Cameron Sutton. Well, Cameron Sutton, a former day 2 pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers out of Tennessee, he got paid this offseason after a really good year in Pittsburgh in a contract season, and he has not been good for the Lions this year. Completion percentage, 60.7. Yards allowed, 499. Touchdowns allowed, 3. 3 pass breakups, no interceptions, and PFF has him ranked 82nd out of 119 qualifying corners. So this is a matchup that Courtland Sutton should dominate, and Denver must take advantage of this lopsided matchup. Now let me know, should Courtland Sutton make the Pro Bowl? Chime in for me down below in the comment section. Drop a Y for yes or N for no. Moving on to my third key to victory, make Jared Goff uncomfortable. Jared Goff is an indoor cat. Have you seen him play outside, especially in the cold? It's not good. But when he's at home, when he's either in sunny California with the Rams or when he's inside Ford Field, he plays pretty well. I mean, look at Jared Goff's stats in 2023 at home versus on the road. His completion percentage, 5 points higher. He's throwing for nearly 25 more yards. That's just 2 first downs right there because Jared Goff is at home. 12 touchdowns. Only 6 interceptions despite playing more games at home, and his rating is much higher. So Jared Goff clearly doing a much better job when playing at home versus on the road. And if you compare that, or excuse me, if you have that go up against Denver's top 4 edge rushers, Baron Browning, Jonathan Cooper, Nick Bonito, Zach Allen, I mean, it's going to be up to these guys to make Goff uncomfortable because we have seen Detroit look fraudulent on the road. Now it's up to Browning, and if Bonito's healthy, fingers crossed, he can also get after there as he leads the way with 7 sacks this year. Zach Allen has been playing lights-out football recently. So these 4 guys I'm calling on to make Jared Goff, number 16, uncomfortable as possible. Fourth key to victory for Denver. It's a race to 28 points. I mean, this is a team in Detroit that wants to get in a shootout because they're great in shootouts. It's when they're not in a shootout, they don't necessarily thrive. Detroit is 2-4 this season when giving up 28-plus points. So if Denver can get to 28 points, well, Broncos got a pretty good chance of winning this game here. However, Detroit themselves, well, they are 6-0 when scoring 28 points. So 28 appears to be the magic number for Denver or for Detroit when it comes to winning and losing ball games. So I'm not quite sure if we're going to see the Broncos offense put up enough points to match Detroit's high-powered offense at home, which has done well there, and when they are undefeated when they get to 28 points. Fifth key to victory, limit the turnovers. This is a pretty cliche one, but it is really jarringly true for Denver. I mean, Denver this season is 0-5 when they turn it over 2+ times. So anytime the Broncos turn it over 2 or more times, 0-5. However, the Broncos, when they turn it over 0 or 1 times, they're 7-1. I mean, usually this is how it goes. If you turn it over a lot, you're going to lose games. This is not new information for any team. But for Denver, it just kind of goes to show their offense, in my eyes, is not high-powered enough, right? Explosive enough to overcome obstacles and hurdles. So they shoot themselves in the foot. Well, some other offenses can overcome that, right? Denver's offense, if they put themselves behind the 8 ball, they really struggle with overcoming early obstacles. So it is crucial for Denver to protect the football. They are just not explosive enough on offense to do, it's kind of sad here, but what, like, say, the Titans did last night. I mean, that's a 1 in a million chance of 14 points in the last 4 minutes or so. And Denver did able to erase a 20-point deficit in Chicago, but it required one defensive score in the third quarter. So it's not exactly apples to apples, but Denver definitely has to do a great job of protecting the football. All right, predict the score for me. Broncos versus Lions down below in the comment section. I want to know who you got in this game and by how much. And my score prediction, I'm going to go with Detroit. I feel like the Lions at home, a hungry team coming off a loss, might be tough for Denver, right? Their third straight road game, that's going to be taxing. I'm not saying Denver's got no chance of winning, but gun to my head, I do think the Lions escape with a narrow home victory. But the Broncos still have 3 games after this Lions game, and they're all against bad teams. I mean, we're talking the Patriots, the Chargers without Justin Herbert, and then the Raiders to round out the season. There's no reason why they can't lose to the Lions, win their next 3 games, finish 10-7, and make the playoffs.